Okay, so we are already aware of introduction about Terraform, right? It's a like a scripting language, and it's like multi-cloud. You can create resources uh, to multiple cloud using Terraform. Okay, and it's even very easy to understand. It's kind of declarative type. Okay, so when I say declarative type, it's like you have a key and you have to just give a value to that, right? So, for example, let's go to Terraform, Azure Resource Group, right? So, if you remember what all things we have to create, mention if you are creating a resource group, anyone can answer that? So, while creating resource group, we have to select a subscription. We have to give the name and we have to give the location, right? Same thing in case of Terraform also. Correct? It will give you. So this is we call it as a block. Okay, so you will get a block called resource group. Naming convention will be same like Azure RM, and then the resource name. Okay, resource group. So and then you can give this block a name. This name is depend on you. Okay, it's not like managed by Terraform. You can give any name to this. Okay, and also the name of resource group and location you can choose as per your convenience, right, or the requirement of team. So it's kind of we are declaring the value name and location. We are calling this resource group block, right? So in this way, we can create a resource group using a resource block in Terraform. Okay. So if I'm going Visual Studio, I think that was the problem last time, correct? So let me go to Visual Studio. Go to File. I will open a new folder.
Vikas, have you started the recording?
Yes, yes, recording is started.
Okay.
Mm, yeah, recording is in progress. You can see. Okay. So I'm just opening the last time where we were discussing uh, same file. Okay. So I think is it visible now, right? And it's not like a small, it's big only.
Yeah, it's visible.
So if I can increase a little bit more the size, I'm not sure. Mm, settings. Mm, Let me check it out. If we have some options. Just allow me 2 minutes. It seems to be this is much bigger. Okay. So yes, let's go to this terraform file. So right now we are discussing about this location, sorry, resource group block, right? So you can see resource group block how it is. Azure RM is fixed for everything. Then we will have the resource name, right? So if you're creating a resource group, it will be resource group, and then we can give any common name here, which is good for us, right? And this depend on us. So we are defining this block name for our reference, and this is for uh, Terraform reference, right? And the name, this is for Azure reference, where Azure will get this name and they will create resources for us, correct? So again, we are about to create two resource groups, so let's delete one. We'll create just one. Then after that, you can see again it is like Azure RM. Then you have the resource, which resource we wanted to create, virtual network, correct? Then we can give a block name from our side and different options, right? Where you wanted to create this virtual network, the name of virtual network, CIDR block of that virtual network, correct? Resource group name, so and then location, correct? The most important part in Terraform is the provider part. Okay, so you can see there are two provider which we have defined here, right? So you can say Terraform request provider is Azure RM, source is hcorp./ Azure RM. Then we have a version right here. You can fix this version of like Azure plugins. Okay, so most of the company they used to fix it. So if you are working for any company, try to fix this. Okay, and try to choose the at least a stable latest version. Okay? There are two type of version you will get for any software. One you will get stable version, and one you will get the latest version. Okay, so always select which is stable and latest. Okay, and then like yes, you can see there is one more provider version, Azure RM. So basically this is for Azure. Okay, same way if you go. Why Terraform is good is like if you go, okay, let's say I want to see Terraform AWS provider. So how to define AWS? You can see provider AWS and then region you can define. Okay. So it's that easy. If you wanted to deploy in different cloud provider, just change the provider region, provider details. Accordingly, you will have different blocks for resources, right? Here you can say AWS VPC is virtual private cloud. That is again a virtual network. Okay. In AWS, and then CID block also you can see you have to give there. You can give different name for that block. Okay. So this way you can deploy using Terraform in multiple cloud provider. You just learn for one, and it yeah, it's like you just learning one car and you can drive any like that kind of options you are having. Yeah, you always need to learn. Like you have to figure out okay what are the different blocks for that, and accordingly you can go, okay, or you can deploy. 1 minute. Yeah, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, just allow me 2 minutes. Okay, so we are good with provider, right? And then resource, how it is aligning, we are good with also that, right? Resource block. Okay, let's go to some command lines, right?
Because what about the location which is written over there? Where dot location? What did it mean?
Yeah, we are using a variable. We'll come to that. That is again one more level of automation. We will come to that.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay. So you understood this resource block. You understood this provider block,
Yes.
right? So
Hmm.
yep. Let me go to the terminal. What is the first command in Terraform? We'll do
First we log in.
Terraform init. Yes, first we'll log in. After that, we will do Terraform init. Right. So okay, we have configured backend. Let's see move backend. I don't want to use backend. So what we're running Terraform initialization. Yeah, let's close this on. Oh, no. We'll copy and we'll create it in new place because we have used it previously. So it is still recognizing the backend which we have created on a storage account. So it is trying to take that. Let us create a new Terraform file. Okay. I'll open a new folder, Terraform 2. Save. Yes, I will create a new file. I will give name main.tf. Okay. And I'll paste the required code. So you can see provider Azure RM Terraform, and then we have this block for resource group, right? What first we will do? We'll try to initialize this. What initialization will do?
It will install all required plugins.
Yeah, and that's correct, right? It will install all required plugins. So right now you can see Terraform has been initialized. Okay, nothing has been downloaded. So this file we have not saved it yet. Save this file and try to run same terminal again. Okay. So we have triggered Terraform init without adding any code. So it says initialized. So right now I'm again adding Terraform init after adding the code. So you can see this time what it is doing. It is initializing provider plugins. It is finding the version which is matching 3.0, whatever we have given here, right? So it is downloading that. It is installing that Hasikoff Azure RM 3.2, right? Again, it is installing the same thing. It installed all the plugins for the version 3.0.2, right? For our this code which we have mentioned here, correct? So what is the next command we will do? We'll do next command is terraform plan. So it says like where dot location is not declared anywhere, right? So we don't have any file. Let's keep the location directly here. We'll go to variable later on. What's the resource group name? Let's say RG1. We are okay with that. This should not give us any error message because we have directly declared here. We are not getting it from any variable group or any variables. Again, we have closed the terminal. We can go to that first terminal only. Let's try to run plan again. Why it got stuck? So yeah, you can say terraform plan. What it is saying, it will add one resource, zero to change, zero to destroy. Correct. So then it is giving you the block name, right? Azure RM resource group. Then the block name which we have created. Then in front of that it is saying, okay, there is plus sign. That means this resource will be created, right? ID will be known after apply. You will get the location where your resource will be created and the name, right, which will be created. So that is the plan. Okay, let me add uh, ID password to it. I'm trying to find where I picked that service principal. Is it a separate folder for it? I got it. Okay, so to define any variable or in your local, how we define it? We'll define it like this way. Okay, we will give environment, dollar environment. Then what this is? This is a Azure Resource Manager client ID, service principal ID. Okay, so like this way, we have to define everything, secret, subscription ID, and all other things. Okay, so let's define everything here. We have defined client secret. Now we have to define subscription ID. If you wanted to create on Azure, if we wanted to create on some other service provider, we have to give the authentication for that. Okay. Also, we can use AG login to log in and create those resources. Okay. If you are not able to create a environment variable, you can do AG login and from there you can create resources. Okay. So now as we have logged into the services, let's go to Azure plan again. Okay. Seems to be there is some problem. Let's use AG login. So that is the way to use service principal. Okay, you define all these four. Whenever you create a service principal in Azure Active Directory, you will get these four details. Okay, client ID, client secret, subscription ID, and tenant ID. You can get right away. Okay, so that's not a big deal. That is not working, so we have used AG login now. Again, we'll do a plan. Yes, okay. Close this, open the terminal again, do AG login. Slides again. Sorry. Okay. Terraform plan. Okay, so I'm getting Terraform plan and output. Why I have closed previous terminal is like it was still taking the environment variable. Okay, so you can see subscription ID and this variable it was taking, and so I have closed that. Whenever you are creating a new service principal, that will work. Maybe I have removed access for that service principal because this video in like a website, so anyone can copy that and can use. So might be I have removed. So yeah, you can use AG login to log into your Azure, and then you can do Terraform plan, right? So Terraform plan will give you an output what all resource will be created, correct? Are you people able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vikas.
Yes, Vikas.
Okay, I am unable to see. There is power cut, so the extension got closed. No problem. How much time do we take? Start. Now also able to see same screen, Visual Studio Code.
Yes, Vikas.
Okay. Okay, let's do a Terraform apply. Okay. What this apply will do, it will create resources on Azure, right? So you can see it is again asking me for my confirmation. Do I want to create or not? I will say yes. Okay. So you can see it created one resource group in my Azure portal, right? In my Azure subscription, and the name is RG1. You can go and check up that. So yeah, let's do that first. Then we'll come back here again. So you can see RG1 is created, right, in East US, correct? So how we will add some other resources? Let's say I wanted to add some more resources to it, right? So this is a resource group log. Let's say we wanted to add something called what? Anyone has any idea what we wanted to add? Any resource which you wanted to add?
Virtual network.
Mhm. Yeah, last time also we created that. So let's say
Yes.
Terraform virtual network Azure, right? So if you do this Terraform Azure virtual network, then what it will do? Just open that, right? You get that resource block, right?
Because your
Hmm.
screen is stable, we are not having.
Yeah, because in Visual Studio Code only it is in Terraform only it is showing.
Okay, let me stop and start setting again. Hmm. Stop. There is screen share. Stop. Able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vikas.
Mhm. Okay, so we have created a resource group, right? Now we wanted to add a virtual network, right? So what we will do, we'll go to there and we'll say Terraform Azure virtual network, right? Let's see virtual network. So if I'm going to virtual network, you can see there are so many things. What is the first important is a resource group, which we already have. Then we can add a network security group to our subnet, right? So they are also creating a network security group. Then they are creating a virtual network with subnet, that is with two subnet, right? And then they are adding some tag to it also, right? So let's copy the complete block, okay, and paste it to our Visual Studio Code. I'll create a new file and I will say vnet.tf, okay. I'll say okay, let's paste this here, and you can see again it is the Azure RM, right? Then it is having a resource name. Which resource it is? Virtual network. Then I can give here a name like prod vnet, something like that, right? So you can do that. So if I'm adding prod vnet here, okay, don't security group, I don't want it to add. Let me remove. Okay, so you can see what all things is required to create a virtual network. A name is required, right? Then a location, right? So location they are calling it from resource group, okay. Okay, then let me add, let me copy these two lines there. We'll show how to copy it. So basically what this two line is doing, this is creating a dependency, at the same time it is getting details from a different resource, right? And what is this resource? You can see this resource is a resource group block, right? So basically, this virtual network is creating a dependency where to the resource group, because first resource group should exist, then only we can create a virtual network, right? So it is doing two purpose. First is it is creating a dependency. Second, it is like we don't have to, like we have to not define the location and resource group again and again, right? So two things it is happening. So if I'm going to main file where my resource group is there, I wanted to call it anywhere in this Terraform file. How I can call? Location is here. So I have defined already location as east US in resource group. I don't want to define it once again. How I can do that? I can call the resource block. Okay. So this is calling for resource block, right? Azure RM resource group. Then what is the name of that resource block? We have to give here. Okay, so in our case the name is resource group 1, so copy that and change this. Okay, now we have called this complete block, right? Now which value we wanted to call, we have to mention here. Okay, so we have two value, right? One is location and another is name, right? So in location we are calling location, in name we will be calling name. So what should be here? If I'm removing this, how I can call name?
RG1.
First Azure RM resource group, the block, then the block name, then dot name, correct? No need to define RG, again here RG1, we are just calling it from this place only. Okay. So whatever name you give to the RG, it will take here. Okay. I can give any name, no need to change here. Okay. So let's update this to there in our vnet file. We are calling wrong block here, right? We don't have example block in our terraform file, right? So it will fail. So let's change to the correct one. Now it will pass, right? So let's go to again terminal then and check it out. Okay, so what how we will do? What we'll do? It will do plan, right? What Terraform plan will do this time? Okay, I think I have not saved those two files. Yes, I have not saved, so you can see a big dot there. Let me remove this. This is not required here. Let me go to terminal once again. Close this too. Okay, with the one. Let's run Terraform plan.
Vikas,
Mm-hmm.
just you have created VNet TF second file. We can
Uh-huh.
also use the previous one na, for the VNet.
Yes, yes,
Likewise,
we,
in first, uh,
yeah, you can use,
um,
that also.
okay, and then if we apply Terraform apply, then
Mhm.
uh, which command it will follow? It will create all the things that mentioned in the main TF.
No,
Like
so main TF is basically where you will define your this provider things, okay? And then see, this is like how you wanted to organize. So if you are having 10.tf file, what name you have, it doesn't matter, okay? So if you are running a Terraform, let's say in my folder I am having 2.tf file. So Terraform, what it will do, it will check both the file and it will create all the resources what you have mentioned in that. It's not like main.tf only will be created. So
yes, yes.
main.tf is just a naming convention, nothing else.
We can create as many file uh, uh, whatever resources we are creating. Suppose we are creating virtual machine, we can also
Mm.
create a virtual machine file here na.
Yes, yes, it's like that only.
Okay, okay.
So it's like organizing. So let's say I am having 10 or 15 file, and if I'm giving just different name, it will be easy for me to recognize, right? Let's say I wanted to add some, I wanted to make some changes in VNet file. I can go to virtual network and I can make the changes, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's why we are organizing in different manners here. Okay, nothing else.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see we are having two resource, right? One virtual network and one resource group. But here it is saying that it will just create only one resource, right? Terraform plan, where it went. Let's run the plan once again. Okay, so you can see it says plan one to add. And what it is trying to add, it is trying to add a virtual network, right? Prod VNet, the name which you have given. And it is not saying, okay, it is, I also wanted to add the virtual network. Why? Because virtual network is already there, right? How will able to know what all resources is already created? Run a command terraform show list, right? We have seen that. Let's run terraform list. Sorry, terraform state list. Okay, so you can see there is one resource group block is already there which was created, correct? So with terraform state list I can see. Now terraform plan says it is planning to add one more. Let's say terraform apply. We will see what will happen. Okay, we'll say yes. Okay, so you can see when I have given the confirmation, okay, let's go ahead and create yes. It is creating virtual network, right? It got created. So let's go to portal and see if it is there or not. Right? Go to home, resource group, RG1. Inside RG, we should have a virtual network. Example virtual network, right? The same name we have given there, correct? If you go here to VNet, what is the name we have given? Example network we have given, correct? So we got same virtual network here, example VNet. Okay, so that's how we add any resources. Let's say tomorrow I wanted to add one more resource, I can add in this main.tf file itself, or if you wanted to add some more like virtual machine kind of thing, I can add a new file here called vm.tf. Okay, and then I can have my terraform code here. Okay, so this is how we used to create any resources using terraform. Okay, and there are more level of automation, but yeah, before that, any question till now you have? Anyone has any question?
Yes, because uh, after that, if we are adding a virtual machine code and
Mm-hmm.
we apply Terraform, apply, then it will create all the things like again that is a virtual network, resource group, virtual machine. Uh, I mean to ask you, suppose after 2 3 hours we are again initiating Terraform initiate, then it will follow all the commands that are in main TF.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. Let's try to create a virtual machine. It won't take much time. Okay. So resource group, virtual network we already have. Subnet also we already have, right? So we just want a virtual machine, correct? There are so many details here, but yeah, still no problem. Let's copy all of them. Let's see how Terraform works. Okay, let's copy this. I have added a vm.tf file, right? So we all know, right, how to call. Let's keep the name VM1. We are fine with that. Location. This is wrong way to call location, right? Resource group one dot location. This is correct, right? Resource group name also it is wrong. Resource group one dot name. Okay. Network interface ID. From where we will get? We have created virtual network, right? Here we have not created a network interface ID. Let's create a network interface ID for that. Put that also network interface. So if you're creating with any command line, you have to create network interface by yourself. Okay. So let's say VM1 nick. Again, resource group and location, you have to call it from there. Resource group one dot location. Resource group one dot name. Then you can say subnet ID, right? So what is the name we have given for the subnet? We have created subnet in virtual network part, right? Where is our virtual network? This subnet. Not like that we can call. They have created a new subnet called internal. Okay, let's add a subnet block also. We are missing that also. Oh, got little bit, but that's okay. Resource group dot name. Virtual network we have already there. So let's say what example we have given that. What is the name of virtual network? Third VNet. Network dot third VNet dot name. Let's save this one. So okay. So now I got this one. So internal dot ID. Because we want subnet ID here. Let's save this. Anything else? Any dependency? No. So yes, 16. I'm okay with that. We got 14 already there, so it will fail. Let's change it to 3. Okay, let's go to terminal again and we'll see what will happen. Okay. We'll say terraform plan. First, let's see terraform list, right? Sorry, terraform state list. Okay, again, I will stop sharing and start again because there is, I got the power back. Okay, let me stop sharing. Able to see my screen, hope, right?
Yes, Vikas.
Okay. So terraform state list. We can see there are two resources created, right? One is prod vnet and one is resource group. The question here is, will Terraform create all those resources once again? Yes or no, right? So let's do a Terraform plan and see what Terraform is trying to do. So you can say it is saying two to create, right? And what two resources is it trying to create? It is trying to create a subnetwork and it is trying to create a network interface. Okay, vm.tf we have not saved, maybe save vm.tf. Okay. So interface document.type. Okay. Oh, yeah, I have not set the main, and that's why it was not taking for the VM. Let me again apply Terraform plan. Any name defining it should be inside a folder. Okay,
Hello.
yes,
One question. So we are creating the resource group here, and
Mhm.
can we access this resource group in our Azure portal?
Yes, yes, we can. Even every resource we can access in portal. Okay, whatever
Using
resource
this
we are
resource group,
using.
this resource group which we are creating here in the Terraform.
Yes, yes, we can use any resource group.
Yes.
So Terraform is just a way for automation of infrastructure as a code. Okay, where you will be creating different resource using a Terraform. Okay, so that's it, nothing else. Okay. So yes, to Vishal and everyone, you can see it is just saying it will create three resources. It is not saying that it will create a resource group, right? It is not saying it will create a virtual network. It is saying it will create a virtual machine, right? It will create a new subnet which we have added, and it will create a network interface ID, correct? So basically, how Terraform is recognizing that there are already two resources created. It first check the state file. Okay, so in state file, Terraform maintain a details of what all resources is already created on Azure. Okay, so first it will go to state file and it will compare. Okay, based on your request, it will compare. Okay, Vishal is requesting 5 resource. Out of that, 2 of them is already present there. And how we can see that? We have seen in Terraform state list, right? In Terraform state list, that is a readable format. Terraform state list for us, we can see 2 resources are already created. That is resource group 1 and prod vnet. So it is removing them and it is saying the new resources which we are creating. The new 3.1 virtual machine, a subnetwork, and a network interface. So if I say apply, again it is giving me the same output as planned. I will say yes. So basically, Terraform has two benefit over other CLI and PowerShell is it has an active connection or it has a state file, okay, which has a detail of the previous deployment. So you can deploy same Terraform file, you can update them, or you can like reuse same block again and again. Okay, that is the benefit of Terraform. You can say. Okay, first is it maintain a state file. Second, it will have a active connection with Azure also. Okay, based on that, it will give you an output. Okay, what all resources it wanted to create. You can review that plan. Okay, it is going to create these many resources, right? Wherever you see there is a plus sign, it says it is going to create a new resource. Okay, you can see 3 resource has been added. Okay, so let's say I wanted to. Okay, have you understood till now how Terraform works?
Yes, Vikas.
Yes, Vikas.
Don't know
And
about the other.
till now we have understood that this Terraform state file is very important. That also we got right, because if we delete this, Terraform will not have any details of previous deployment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So next we will learn how we will safely store this Terraform state file in Azure storage account. Okay, so we can store this Terraform state file in our Azure storage account also. So let's say I wanted to make some changes in some of the resource. Okay, let's say I'm going to VNet and I wanted to change the CID block for this subnet to from 2 to 4. I will just save it. Right? So Terraform say okay, it is going to change something, right? Till now we have just seen create a new, right? Let's see how Terraform will make a changes. Okay, so I have changed the state CIDR block there. You can see now Terraform is saying it is changing one. And what is the sign of changing? It will delete subnet 2 and it will again recreate subnet 2. Okay, so basically it is just changing the virtual network. That's why it says one change is there. Okay, same way you can change the virtual machine if you wanted to change something. Okay, I wanted to change some details in virtual machine, manage OS6, LRS, I want to change this, or let's say I wanted to change the ID and password. I can do that also. Okay, let's say yes, I wanted to change the virtual network subnet. So even Terraform recognizing the configuration also, like what all configuration you have made to your virtual machine. If you are making some changes from portal, Terraform will recognize it that you have made some changes. So next time when you apply that, Terraform will ask, okay, there are some manual changes. It will not say like manual changes. There are some changes. So Terraform will reapply those changes. That details you will get in Terraform. Okay. So that is due to the active connection from Terraform to Azure storage account. Or, sorry, Azure portal or Azure resources. Some failure is there. Original subnet in use by subscription. This resource group one. Okay. Anyway, it's fine. So there should not be any dependencies. If there is any dependency while you are trying to make the changes, it will fail. Okay. If it is like standalone, it will make the changes. Okay. So we have learned what INIT will do, what plan will do first. Terraform plan will compare resources from Terraform state, what all resources are there, and then it will create the newly added, correct? What next? It will also check with Azure portal, okay? Azure already existing resources that, okay, have you made any changes to resources? Based on that also you will get output, okay? If you are answering till here that it will check state file and give you the result, that is also fine, okay? The Terraform plan. So we have two things. Let's update this Terraform state file in a storage account, okay? We don't want to keep it here because this is very important file and it is storing all the details of our resources which we have deployed, right? So right now if I'm going to Terraform state list, so you can see it is having 5 different resources in my state file, right? And configuration and all of them are stored in a JSON file, right? If you go to Terraform state, you can see it is having the operating system, it is having publisher, it is having the SKU of Ubuntu, right? Storage details it is having the tag, right? It is having the timeout and all those things. So all the details has been stored in a JSON format that we call it as a Terraform state file, which has the detail of all the resources which have been already deployed along with their configuration. Okay. So to safeguard this file, what we will do, we'll create a new file. We'll say backend.tf. Okay, so don't go with the name. You can give any name. Just concentrate on what all data we are giving here, right? Or what block we are calling here. Okay. So if you're running initializing Terraform, it will take all the TF file. If you're doing a plan, it will take all the TF file. Okay, it doesn't think much of this front name. It just take about the last name .tf. Is it a Terraform file? Yes. Then Terraform say, okay, this is my file. I will use it. Just for the readable backend file, I will just give backend.tf. Okay, so that people will understand. Okay, this is backend file. And how we'll get the configuration? I don't know how to configure backend. Again, I will go to Terraform Azure storage backend or just Terraform Azure backend you will give. Okay. You can see there is a block called backend right here. So this backend is for Azure RM. I will copy this. I will go to this backend.tf. I will save this file. So what all things it is asking? It is asking me a resource group name, it is asking me a storage account name, and it is asking me a container name, correct? Let's create a storage account. So this state file you have to either create with CLI or PowerShell for one time. Okay, so let's create in Vikas RG, create a resource, storage account. I'm creating this storage account to store my TF state file. Okay, let's keep the same name, or it will say let's say AG TF test POC. I hope this will take. I will go ahead and say review and create. So if in interview they are asking where are you storing your state file, just say you are storing it in Azure storage account. Okay. How to store it in Azure storage account? We are using a backend block where we are defining a resource group name, right? Where my TF state storage account is present. We have to give the storage account name. We have to give the container name, and then give a name for that Terraform state file. Okay. My storage account created. What else we need? We need a container, right? Go to container, just give container in name, tf state, sorry, tf state, will give create. I don't have any containers. I'll get that first one. I have just added one.
Spelling, sir?
No, that should not be a problem, right? It created one. Correct? Successfully created a storage container. Yeah, tf state. Okay, so let's copy. Make the changes. This is the container name, tf state, right? Same name I think I have given there. No, okay, it's fine. Whatever name you can give any name. That's not a problem. What else we need? We need a storage account name also, correct? And we need resource group name. Which resource group we have created? We have created them in Vikas RG. So let's give Vikas RG. Then a storage account name. What is the storage account name? This is my storage account name, AGTF test POC. I will copy this. I will update my storage account name here. Then I can give a name to my state file. Okay, this is any name you can give. Okay, I'm okay with prod.terraform.tf state. Let's save this file. Okay, and again, whenever you are doing a changes in backend, okay, you have to initialize again. Okay, so if I say terraform init, it will recognize that I have added a new backend configuration. Okay, we are inspecting a state in local backend, right? So it is getting some error in retrieving key. Let me log in again because I have just created this storage account. It may not have recognized that. I have logged in again. Let me do Terraform initialization. Still there is some problem. Let me add myself as a contributor. Basically, we will access this state file with the service principal, so that service principal should have required access. Okay, I'm going to Terraform. I'm going to, sorry, storage account, going to IAM, adding myself as contributor. Okay, next, member, select a member. So it will take some time. The rule assignment has been done. I hope I will able to initialize. If not, it will take. Source not found. It is taking some time to get that resource. That's fine. So this is the way you can configure a backend. Once you configure the backend, this local backend, it will move to this storage account. Okay, and from there, like anyone can call, right? If it is in a centralized storage, what are the benefit? First, it is safe, right? It is in a storage account. We can track if there is any changes, right? Second, anyone can edit your this state file if it is in Terraform. Let's say there are 4 people in your team who are working on Terraform, so they can do a plan and check. But if this state file is in local, it's just you who can just make the changes, right? So first, it is safe in storage account. Second, it is like accessible for multiple people, same as Git. Okay, like how multiple people can clone code and they can edit and update back. Same way, this Terraform state file works. Okay, now let's try once again if it is recognized this time. Otherwise, we'll see tomorrow that initialization. Again, there is some problem. Let's do AG login once again and try. Okay, so Terraform initialize. Not recognizing. We'll fix this problem tomorrow. Okay, so that's okay. Any question in state file? Terraform state file. Please write 5 to 10 points on Terraform state file for interview. If you are saying you know Terraform, there will be question on state file for sure. Okay, where you will get details? You will get details in from Terraform website, or even you can search for Terraform interview questions. Okay, that will be more than enough. So one is state file. What is next? There one question from there were one question from Ajit at the starting, right? Why we have where dot rg name,
Location.
yeah, or where dot location, right? Okay, so let's add one more file. We'll say variable dot tf. Okay, I will add some variable. I'll add a variable block. Okay. If you wanted to check it in Terraform, we can say Terraform variable for Azure, something like that. Define input variable, you can see, right? So how you can define input variable? You can say variable, then a name, and then you can give a variable value. Okay, that is your variable.tf. Okay, so and then you can call that value here. Same thing we are trying to do. Okay, so first learn the basics. It's nothing but we are just defining the name somewhere else. Correct. So let's say I've given this variable a type string, and then I will give some description that I will say, okay, rg name. Yeah? Here also I will say it rg underscore name, and I will say, okay. Then I have to give a value, right? So default, then value rg1. I will keep the same name. I will not change it. Okay. So rg1. Now I can remove name from here. Okay, and I will call it. I can call it from my variable. How to call a variable in Terraform? Var dot whatever name you have given to that variable. Okay, rg name. Same way. Let's define one more variable for location. How I can define that? Either I can just copy this variable, paste here, just change the this variable name to location. Okay, and give the location details in default. What is that? East US. Okay, let's save it. How to call this variable? In my main file, I can say var dot location. Okay, just save it. Now is it clear?
Yes, Vikas.
Okay, so
Behavior is a set of code where we define what we want to do.
it's not set of code. It's like you are passing some default value, or you can edit that. Okay, so it's like how you are defining some variable for any programming language. So this is the way to define a variable in Terraform. In PowerShell, we used to say $abc is equal to xyz, right? So here in Terraform, this variable in variable.tf, we can define different variables. So yeah, I can define same variable in main.tf also, doesn't matter. But we used to keep the variable.tf in separate folder. Okay. What else we can variable? We can keep in variable. You can say VM name I have defined here, right? Can I create a new variable? Yes, I can, right?
Yes,
I
you
can
can.
create, so I can say VM name, VM name, right? And I can just give the VM name, VM1, whatever name I have given there, VM1, right? How to call this? Var dot virtual machine name. Let's save this. So now I'm not defining anything in my this vm.tf name. Instead, I am making the changes in variable.tf. So anyone who wanted to reuse this Terraform, what he can do, he can copy complete file and he can edit this variable.tf. Let's say he wanted to create a new resource, rg resource group rg2. He is okay with east to west. Then he wanted to create a new virtual machine. He can change the name. He can save this, and he can just deploy. Right? No, no need to go to virtual machine or vnet or even your main file, right? So that is the benefit of a variable, or that's why we use a variable. Okay. Anything else in variable? At least you people understand, right, how to use a variable, how to initialize, how to configure backend, and how to uh, add new resource block. I will take that as yes. So tomorrow again we will start from here only. Tomorrow we'll learn little bit more from Terraform, and yes, we will be not applying directly. We will be applying via a Azure DevOps pipeline. Correct? Same thing we have done last time also. You can refer to that video. Okay, so last time this we are very small. That's why we have to do it once again. So yep, we'll stop here. If anyone has any question, you can ask.
Because I have a question, but not related to this topic.
Yes,
It is
yes, tell
related
me.
to the blob storage.
Yes, tell me.
Can you can you define the difference between the uh, what is called? I don't remember that.
There are
Uh,
three type of blob:
yeah, I know that,
block
but
blob,
I have
append
a question
blob, page blob.
only especially. Yeah, I have a question only from the blobs. Where is the single or the individual blob storage? What are the difference between them?
There are three type of blob, right? We have gone through page blob, block blob, append blob. They have
Yes,
different utilization. I think we have video for that, right?
I am asking about the difference between the single blob storage and the individual blob storage. What is the difference between them?
Both are same, right? Single and individual.
But the storage content of the single storage is little small from the individual storage block.
Where you
It
have
is
got?
a
Can you
far
share
difference
me that
between the
document?
storage company storage what do you call
Can you share me the document? Maybe I can explain you where you have gone through this, where you have got this detail. That's
I don't
storage.
have a I don't remember that point where I did it, but I searched that once again.
Okay. So if you wanted to learn in blob, so Azure blob types. Okay. If you go to Azure blob types, see there are three type of blob. Okay, you can say blob, and you can say page blob. Okay.
Yeah,
So we
third
have
one is
gone through
Apple.
this. Hmm. We have gone through this. You can see the definition of blob. Okay. So blob are text or binary data. Okay. Blobs are made of blocks of data that can be managed individually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Blob can store up to 190 terabytes. Okay. Then there is append blob. Okay. Append block is made of block types only, but optimized for append. Like you can, when you say append, like you can use
Uh,
append block for a logging. Okay. Logging is a said application logging or operating system logging based. There you can use append block that will be added, appended every time there is new log created. Correct. Then there
mm-hmm.
is page blob. So page blob is for like virtual hard disk. You have seen there will be VHD created in your operating system. When your laptop goes in hibernate mode, you can see there will be a page blob created. Okay, page file created. So this page blob is to store some page files. Okay, so there are three type of blobs. Okay, I have not seen individual and a single blob. Okay, so yes, this is what you want to read more details. You can go through this.
Append blob is more about the updates of the log.
We are using, you can use append blob for the logging purpose. Okay,
Yes, yes.
append is like where continuous data is flowing. Okay, and that is appending the same data. So in logging is okay. Yesterday CPU usage was 60%. Today CPU usage is 70%. It is appending
Hmm.
the same value with same key with new values, right? At different point of time. So it is good for logging.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
I had, but I don't remember that.
Hope you have also updated your resume.
Yeah, I did. I will show tomorrow.
Yeah, please send it to me. That is important. Okay.
Okay.
Vishal, Tony, Alok, any questions?
No,
Yeah,
sir, no questions. I will send my resume, sir.
Yes, please. Okay. Anyone has any pipeline for this week? Tony, you are trying to say something?
yeah, because like in Terraform, you are showing for one creating for one virtual machine and virtual network. No, if
Yes,
like, for suppose like it is taking, we want to create like more than like more than one virtual machine means like we how we can do.
that's correct. So that is good question. So how to create multiple virtual machine? So I guess Tony, you are good with programming, right? You have used for each or like you have used the count where I is equal to I plus plus greater than uh, 0 and less than 3. Those kind of block you have used, right, in normal programming.
Yes, sir, in
Yeah,
C, C++.
Yeah, we are using, right, for each block or even I is equal to I plus plus, then we are giving some block, right? Same thing
You are
with
talking
virtual.
about the looping.
Yes, looping part. That's correct. So Terraform also has looping that is advanced. So I have not touched it, but yes, you have asked this question. So we have so many options. Okay, let's go through it for 2 minutes, right? Terraform looping modules. Okay, so there are so many options for looping. Okay, in Terraform you have count. Okay, so okay, so yeah, you can see there is something called count. This will work as in your I is equal to I plus plus and something like that. For each information, we can have multiple variable defined, and for each variable, it will create a resource. Okay. Then we have for expression also. Okay. So there are three options for looping in Terraform, which you can do. Okay. And then to call, you can see there is one call, right? For I is equal to 0, I is equal to less than 3, I plus plus. Okay. So this is if you have given neo, it will give neo 1, neo 2, neo 3 kind of kind of naming. Okay. So this way you can call the names and you can create multiple with count. Okay.
Because where we write this code on the Terraform.
It's simple, right? Where we are see, you have to just define this. Where I have defined this. This is a resource group block, right? For I is equal to I plus plus, just keep that. Inside
Yeah,
that
this is
you
the
can give,
initialization part.
yes, so you can give a name here. Okay. So this is the resource block which is inside your this for
Resource.
each loop. Okay. Inside your for each loop, you have that resource block. So your resource block will be a sub block of for each for block, right? Then this is the complete code which will work for I is equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. Okay. Then you can give that. Okay. There is something called count index also. Okay. That is a normal code which you can do, right? So in Terraform you can simply add a called add a resource, or you can say value called count, and you can give the name. Okay. If you are giving 3, then you can call this count new dot dollar, then count dot index. So you will get new dot 0, you will get new dot 1, and you will get new dot 2. Okay, so count is one way to create multiple resources. So yeah, to answer that question, you can say count is one option. Okay, another option is for each. So the best way to use create multiple resources is for each. That will give you an option to create like resources as per your convenience. Okay, you can give your name which you wanted to create. Okay.
Yeah, okay, cuz.
Okay.
One more thing, like you are giving variables like you're defining as static, no? Like
Hmm.
we can change anything like after like when if you are running a pipeline means there before that anywhere.
Yes. So for that we have a tfvar file. Okay. Even we can pass our variable in this terminals. Okay. I wanted to update this variable. Okay. So let's say uh, terraform update, or you can say pass variable. Command line. Okay. So you can pass that while applying. Terraform apply ID system validation rule, that is fine. Okay. So you can see Terraform apply, then you can pass a variable. Okay, I can say where, then I can say resource group, and then resource group is equal to. Okay, this is the one way how you can pass the variable. Okay, or let's say if you wanted to update multiple variables, you can have a file called tfvars. Okay, so let's go here, create a new file. You can say variable.tfvar. Okay, so you can update tfvars, update those variable here in tfvars, and you can call this tfvar. Sorry, I have this while applying. Okay, so if you have multiple variable to edit, it's better to use a tfvar file. Okay, and store in same place. Okay, and while saying terraform apply, you can call that variables. Okay, so tfvar file we will see, don't worry about that. Okay, looping also we'll see once. Okay, how I'm using for each loop. Okay, how to use for each loop, we will see that also. So if I'm giving some value in tf, let's say vm2, and if I'm giving some value in variable.tf, like in variable.tf it is rg2, in tf where it is rg3, so my terraform will take value from tf where it will not take value from tf variable.tf. Okay, because tf has highest value. Okay, so it will take input from tf vars. Okay, any other questions?
No, cuz.
Okay, we'll store. Sorry, stop recording. Just go